Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
A Tampa community is uniting as police search for a potential serial killer after 3 people were murdered in the past 2 weeks. I'm Nikki Batiste in New York with the story coming up.
And closer to home, high winds led to warnings for big trucks on Bozeman Pass in the Livingston area yesterday. Coming up, what it looked like on the highway, what officials say about staying safe when the winds do pick up.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. 6:30 here on your Monday. Now, this morning in Tampa, police are warning residents in the Seminole Heights neighborhood to be on high alert and not to walk alone at night after the shooting deaths of 3 people with no ties to each other.
Police think the deaths could be the work of a serial killer. CBS's Nikki Batiste has the latest.
Residents in this Tampa neighborhood lit candles during a vigil and walked in remembrance Sunday night for 3 people gunned down in the past 2 weeks.
I'm not too sure if I feel safe or not. I'm just right now overwhelmed.
They marched, led by the victims' families, including the father and stepmother of 21-year-old Anthony Noboa.
I just hope that someone just realizes the pain and hurt that our family, Monica's family, and as well as Benjamin's family that we're going through, because justice has to prevail.
Police are looking for this person seen strolling in surveillance video wearing a hoodie the night of the first murder.
We still have no leads. We have no motive.
Police do have a disturbing pattern. 3 victims, strangers to each other, but shot in the same area in the same time frame.
It's clear to me that they're all linked.
On October 13th, Monica Hoffa's body was found in a vacant lot. 4 days earlier, the body of Benjamin Mitchell was found less than a mile away. On Thursday, police found the body of Anthony Noboa, shot after taking the wrong bus home from work, about 100 yards away from where Mitchell was killed.
Right in this floor, it was right here. Yes, they killing just for nothing, just for fun, like he was nothing.
Patrol officers are canvassing the streets, hoping to find the killer and ease this community's fear. Nikki Batiste, CBS News.
Now, Nikki tells us Tampa police will hold a community meeting with residents this evening to talk about the murders and how they can potentially stay safe.
Scary stuff.
Yep.
Now, no word yet this morning on the missing person alert in Butte for a retired police officer. Sheriff Ed Lester issued the release saying his department is looking for Timothy Tracy, 52 years old, 5'6", 160 pounds. Tracy was last seen on Thursday, October 19th, when he left his home in Butte to go for a ride. He was driving a 2013 silver Ford F-150 pickup. If anyone has any information about Tracy's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Butte Police Department at 497-1120.
Story will continue to follow here on Montana This Morning and throughout the broadcast day online and on air.
Absolutely. Yep. Looking like a nice couple of days that we have in a little shift in temperatures.
Eventually we'll get to that shift. I'm looking forward to the fact that we don't have a lot of wind.
Yes.
Yeah, the wind was a little rough over the weekend for a lot of people. The good news is the wind speeds will be lighter today. Temperatures very mild to start the morning, into the 30s and 40s. 34 in West Yellowstone this morning, 37 in Dillon. Sitting at 42 in Belgrade. A little bit of cloud cover out there helping to keep those temperatures up a few degrees. It looks like our temperature should be near the 60-degree mark or into the mid to upper 50s for the afternoon. We'll see these temperatures warming into the 60s as we get a little closer to the middle part of the week. We'll talk about that shift in our weather pattern coming up. We'll, of course, talk about that in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:34. Evacuations have been issued for some residents south of Roundup because of a wildfire. The fire started on Sunday evening near a subdivision in the community of North Billings and spread rapidly due to those high winds. Firefighters from Yellowstone County rushed to assist local fire units and DNRC crews. Air tankers are expected to join the battle against the blaze this morning. A Red Cross shelter for evacuees has been set up at the Roundup Community Center.
Staying on topic a bit, MTN's Kenneth Webb was in Livingston yesterday as those high winds swept through, triggering an alert for semis and other high-profile vehicles to get off the interstate.
We have so many vehicles, towing vehicles, semis, pickups with big trailers, campers, that these winds will flip them over and it'll shut everything down. And when the winds get, above, I believe it's 55, it starts getting really dangerous out there. And that's when DOT starts taking action
And that's exactly what the Montana Department of Transportation did, was rerouting the semis and other folks that are towing due to their safety.
It's for their safety and the safety of everybody else around. It's, I mean, that's why we put it up there. Semis, they don't keep control of themselves. They're such a big vehicle. And with these gusts of winds, it'll push them over into the other lane. When these things flip, there's no warning.
While speaking with Lieutenant Totland, we almost got blown over because of how strong the winds were. I also spoke with 2 individuals that didn't feel safe driving through the dangerous wind conditions.
Because of the high wind warnings, the trailer was acting real funny, and I'm required by Indiana Transport to stop in winds that are above 25 because they're so lightweight and high. This one's not too high, but it blows it around and could blow you right over. Well, my life's worth more than that trailer. I just call it that I'm cautious. I mean, I drove big truck all my life, and so I know what the winds can do, and even with a big truck, and it's senseless when I have no time to get it there to be going with it when there's this kind of winds, you know.
There were some high winds blowing, and so I got on 511 and found out they're pretty strong, and I just don't want to take the chance. There's a chance I could be blown over, especially particularly you have to rely on your sense of how heavy you are. And if you're too light, then you can get blown over really easy. So it's their safety as well as anybody else's. So I'd say, yeah, they should really beware of what's going on, I would say.
Wind speeds are still picking up. Now, according to my anemometer, wind speeds right now are between 25 to 30 miles per hour, sustained winds. We've already received wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour already today here in Livingston. Kenneth Webb, MTN News.
And now for a list of a complete up-to-date road conditions and closures, you can always head over to our website or check out our weather app for the very latest information.
Oh, those safety goggles. I wish I had a pair of those right now. The 2017 fire season was extraordinarily brutal on Montana's forests and ecosystems. But with more than 1 million acres burned, many hunters find themselves without their traditional hunting grounds. The beginning of rifle season for deer and elk means hunters are back out and forced to gather venison or the big buck. Most active fires have associated land and or road closures, which means some public lands, trails, and roads will be off limits to hunters. With many burned areas across western Montana, hunters are now noticing fire season has impacted the concentration of hunters in non-burned areas, leaving them more crowded.
And we have to be way more careful about where we shoot, where we aim, how we do different things.
Shooting lanes.
Yeah.
We had to go to a few different areas because the areas that did get burned up and stuff, so we had to do a lot more scouting and stuff. But what we've noticed is there are areas that are huntable and stuff, it's getting hit pretty hard by more people because you're sort of limited now.
Now, hunters should check with Fish, Wildlife, and Park for closures and restrictions before heading out.
In this week's Under the Big Sky segment, we travel to the Paradise Valley. That's where Jason Kajun makes drift boats in his own small shop. Kajun's boats combine a unique aesthetic with the ruggedness required to navigate Montana's waters. After leaving Montana to explore other opportunities, Kajun tells us he felt compelled to return to his home state.
Under the Big Sky is brought to you by Mattress Firm.
I was really lucky to grow up in Glacier National Park. My folks ran the boats up there in the Two Medicine Valley for 35 years. You know, it was a little bit of an odd thing to grow up in Montana around these old wooden boats. And I wasn't really sure if it was real, if it was something that you could always do. As time went on and I got out of high school, I thought, well, I have to get an actual job and do something else. So I did, and I went to college in architecture and engineering and various things. Then I found myself coming back to boats. I got a job out in the Seattle area with another boat builder. Learned a lot of different techniques than the old wood boat techniques, fiberglass and epoxy and that sort of stuff. Going out of Montana, I think for any of us that have spent a lot of time here or grew up here, you get out of the state and you go, wait, is this the real world out here, or is Montana the real world? Because we're so used to having it so good. I discovered that what I really wanted to do was be back in Montana, and I thought, you know, I bet I can have a go at making fishing and hunting boats in Montana, and let's see if that works. My wife and I moved down to Livingston, and so we just came back and just tried, and, you know, got really lucky.
Now tune in weekly during the Sunday 10 p.m. news, and then again on Mondays on Montana This Morning and the noon news for more special news features from under the big sky.
Love that.
Good stuff.
Very good stuff. We do have to take a quick break, but coming up next, when Montana This Morning returns, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a great reminder for women to get checked. But in a moment, a story of a special reminder for one woman.
But first, here's Nora O'Donnell with a look at what's coming up at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Ahead here on CBS This Morning, Keezer Khan is in Studio 57. The Gold Star father's message to President Trump about immigration and patriotism. And classified documents about JFK's assassination will be released this week. We talked to the last living person from the president's motorcade. We'll see you right at 7.